Yeah, so now we got an update on the Flare Network Spark token distribution. Y'all ready for this good news? Well, don't worry, players. I got you. So, welcome back, crypto geeks. I am the one they call Squeak, just another super crypto enthusiast that's trying to share this information with anyone that's willing to listen. All right, moving right forward. The Flare Network Spark token distribution. If you held XRP right around December during the snapshot, and this is not for the newcomers, this is for the OGs in the game, then you all know that you will be receiving a 1-for-1 Spark token distribution from the Flare Networks. Now, initially, the first airdrop of the tokens was going to be 15% of the total amount of XRP that you held, and then you will receive the other 85% periodically some months down the road. I think a few months in a couple of years or whatever, something like that. I got to look back into it. But here's the deal. I had planned on keeping the first 15% and then selling the additional 85 as it would be dispersed throughout the different exchanges that I held my XRP on during the snapshot. And that was because of the implications of the US tax code, meaning that the first 15% would have been distributed at zero because it had no value. I was under the impression that the additional 85% would have actual value, and therefore we would be taxed heavily on that additional 85%, which in turn would cause a lot of us holders to go ahead and dump it. And in doing so, you would probably get stuck holding the bag of these Spark tokens at a loss in value. And then you would have to continue to hold those Spark tokens until the price of the tokens actually went up, or you went on and took the loss and cashed out. Either way it goes, you were gonna probably get hit over the head by Uncle Sam. But in scrolling through crypto Twitter yesterday, I found this post by the Flare Networks, and they consulted this one tax attorney's office. Man, I can't pronounce the name. Let's just call it T&H. So I went over here to I clicked it, went over to the website here. So if you go over here to the website, and I will leave a link in the description because I'm making this real brief. What the Flare Networks did, they posted this information after they consulted with, I'm just gonna say Tong and Shia. I think the H is silent. I don't want to butcher this name, but anyway, it says right here, in light of the questions raised by the US-based community members regarding the distribution of Spark. For you newcomers, Spark is the token that the Flare Networks were gonna distribute a 1-for-1 for if you held XRP, the coin XRP. Some exchanges participated, some did not. So you had an option of taking some of your XRP and putting it on some of the exchanges and waiting for the snapshot of the XRPL, the wallets. Or you could have held it in a cold storage wallet, such as a Ledger Nano X or a Ledger Nano S. Or you could have held it in a hot wallet online, like some wallet, right? And then later on down the line, we were all gonna get free Spark tokens. So if you held 10,000 XRPs, in turn you would get 10,000 Sparks from the Flare Networks. The problem is we were all panicking because of these new tax regulations and guidelines by Uncle Sam that was, let's just say they were looking to dig a little too deeply into our pockets, you dig? So anyway, that's a little of the backstory, trying to bring you newcomers up to speed here. But for the OGs that held this XRP, I'm talking to you guys right now. Let me go ahead and move this forward. In light of the questions raised by the U.S.-based community members regarding the distribution of the Spark, Flat Network has engaged independent tax counsel to provide its opinion on the tax implications of the staggered token release plan. Specifically, we asked the tax attorneys at, just call it T&H, whether the staggered timing of the token release would create tax implications under the U.S. federal tax law for U.S. recipients under the assumption that the value of the Spark would arguably increase to something greater than $0 subsequent to the initial 15% plan release. Now they make a note right here. It says, initially, please note that the below excerpts from the resultant T&H tax memo do not constitute legal advice to members of the Flat Network community. You should always consult your own tax counsel for personal advice. The first part of the T&H analysis reviews the dominion and control doctrine, which basically says that the property, in this case crypto tokens, is taxed at the recipients is taxed to the recipient at the time that the recipient is deemed to be in dominion and control of that property. In other words, if dominion and control is of the initial 15% Spark token distribution deemed to exist on day zero, when Spark token is arguably worth $0, then the income tax to the recipient for that 15% is $0. Okay, you following me? However, if dominion and control for the remaining 85% Spark distribution is deemed to exist only on the future dates when the Spark is released to the recipient, then the taxable income to the recipient would be the value of those distributions on the dates that they are distributed. So right here it says dominion and control doctrine does not apply to Spark. I repeat, the dominion and control doctrine does not apply to Spark. And they write, if the dominion and control doctrine applied to our planned distribution schedule, the U.S. recipient would arguably face a recurring tax bill on the 85% Spark they receive in the future distributions. And that's why I said in a previous video, I would be selling my 85%. Because I wanted to avoid the reoccurring tax bill on that 85% of the Spark tokens. But, however, according to the T&H analysis, the dominion and control doctrine would not apply to the 85% distribution of the initial 15% distribution was seen as forward arrangement for the subsequent 85. Are y'all following me? Let me read that again in case I lost you. It says, however, according to the T&H analysis, the dominion and control doctrine would not apply to the 85% distribution if the initial 15% distribution was seen as a forward arrangement for the subsequent 85. A forward arrangement for the subsequent 85. Now you're asking yourself, well, Squeak, what the hell does that mean? All right, let me break this down to you. If the distribution arrangement will be viewed as the recipient entering into a forward arrangement in which they are paying a certain value in exchange for the receipt in the future of the token being distributed monthly, or however they want to distribute it, the basis would be the allocable purchase price under the forward arrangement to each future recipient of 3% of the total tokens, and the dominion and control analysis of the airdrop would no longer be relevant. So what that's saying is, because this is considered a forward arrangement, then we would not get taxed separately for the 15% and the 85%. It would tax you as a whole, where you would only have to pay 3% of the total tokens, and the dominion and control analysis of the airdrop would no longer be relevant. So according to the analysis, the method by which our community members claimed their initial 15% distribution of Spark would arguably constitute a forward arrangement for the remaining 85%. It says it was clearly documented that in order to claim your Spark, you needed to make a transaction on the XRP ledger, which by implication requires spending some XRP. The claim guarantees the claimant's right to the full distribution in the future. And while it doesn't specify all the details of how the future distribution will work, 100% upfront or in increments as currently planned, it is a contract guaranteeing future delivery of the Spark to any XRP holder who pays the requisite transaction fee on the ledger. Excuse me. So, if respected, the subsequent distribution of the 85% will be treated as an acquisition by virtue of forward contract entered into currently. In conclusion, our commission tax analysis concluded that the method by which users claim their Spark would constitute a forward arrangement such that the subsequent 85 distribution would be treated as having the same value as the initial 15% day zero distribution. That means even after you receive your 85% distribution after the 15%, it would be considered to have the same value as day zero of the 15% distribution, which is zero. Okay? But this sounds good to me. And if this is the case, I will no longer be selling my Spark tokens, fellas and sisters. I will hold on to my Spark and I will use them to help promote the liquidity of the Spark, as well as keep the XRP ledger liquid, and in return try to collect some interest off of this thing at the same damn time. Y'all dig? So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to run this by you guys. I'm gonna leave a link in here. I hope I didn't butcher it up too much for you. I am Squeak, the Crypto Geek. You have been watching The Reset, where over here we keep it 100. I am not a financial advisor, and I do not offer financial advice. Y'all know the motto.
Hustle at your own risk.